Hello, I'm Garner Mayor Ronnie Williams. We're here today for another episode of the show that we call Great People in Garner. With us today is longtime resident Magdy Saad. Magdy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
We know that you were born in Cairo, Egypt.
Yes, sir.
That's a long ways from Garner.
Quite a
How
bit.
did you end up in Garner?
Well, my brother, Monis, whom you know, came here in 1969 and settled in Garner in 1977, I think, and started the business, Garner TV, and I came to join the business.
When and why did you get in the TV business?
In my first year of college in Egypt, my brother-in-law had an electronic and appliance distribution in Egypt, and I joined him there. Actually, he taught me everything I know in that business, and it was a good business. It was I enjoyed that business very much. So,
tell the viewers about Cairo of your youth, in your younger days growing up. Tell us about that.
Well, Cairo is a very interesting city. First, if size-wise, when I was growing, I would think it was probably around 10 million. Now I hear it's around 20. But it's a very diverse city. It's fascinating with the amount of history it has in it, between antiquities, that is Christian antiquity, Muslim antiquities, and of course Pharaonic. And of course there is a lot of universities, a lot of businesses, and it's just a very, very nice big city. So.
Okay, there were obviously big cultural adjustments coming from Egypt to America. Talk about that.
Well, when I came,
you've got 30 minutes.
When I came here in 1980, I think the population of Garner at that time was, I don't think more than 10,000, if that many. And going from 10 million to 10,000, you can imagine the cultural differences just in the size and the availability of businesses and entertainment and every facet of life just almost stops. It's very slow, the pacing is much slower, and of course there is the other issue of the language. I was in a French school actually, and my wife as well, so we spoke French in Egypt more than English, so we had to adjust on that side as well, and add to that the southern accent, which adds a little bit of flavor to it. Yes, so you're very right. So there's many different things that we had to adjust to.
Okay, the Garner TV business, it appears just got bigger and bigger. What did y'all do to make that happen?
Well, Garner started the business in 1977, like I said, and we came and joined in 1980, and we worked side by side through 2010. The only way you can grow a business in these circumstances, competing with the big box office and what have you, is customer service, number one, which we had excellent customer service.
Treat the customer right.
Yes, very much so. There in every facet of the business. You have to have excellent product knowledge, you have to have very competitive pricing, and you have to have excellent service. We strive to give the customer all these, and that in turn, paid us very well. Our displays were always up to the best standards. Our pricing was always very competitive, and our service is the best.
You told me before we went on camera you've always had an interest in real estate. Is that that's what you're doing now, right?
That's my passion.
What lured you to real estate?
Well, many things, but my concept of retirement is to do what you like to do and omit what you don't like to do. Real estate has always been my pleasure. I enjoy it. It excites me even more than anything. So when I decided to retire, I, through the years, have accumulated some real estate properties that I just manage now, and enjoy doing that very much.
Are there real estate developments that are in Garner, or around Garner, that the viewers will be familiar with, that you had a part in?
I developed Fidelity Business Park, which is next to Garner TV, and a home of Emphasis Jewelry, and the Grand Marquis Ballroom, which is, I think, has been a very a good thing for Garner. So I think people will relate that to me.
You own an import-export business. How did you get into that? How do you handle that?
Well, the way I got into that is a funny story because, and allow me to tell you, it's a little long, but...
No, we need you to spread it out a little bit.
Okay. You're very familiar with my next-door neighbor, who's Durwood Batchelor. He's my next-door neighbor for 25 years now, and my biggest customer, one of my best friends, well, Durwood and I used to smoke a pipe, so we were not allowed to smoke in the house, so we'd go outside and smoke. So it started by Durwood telling me about his business, and he had some issues with the ceiling fan suppliers. And Durwood's business is a distribution for manufactured housing, so he supplies the plants with the materials. So one of the things he needed is a dependable supplier for ceiling fans. So with that said, I decided to go to China and went to the biggest exhibition in China for their product to try to find him a ceiling fan. Well, anyway, I came back with a bunch of catalogs, and I did not sell him a single ceiling fan, but I sold him a bunch of light fixtures that he's supplying to his plants. Well, that started me in 1994 doing that, and since then I've been in that business, mainly to Durwood and his company, and another distributor out of Texas, Dallas, Texas. Well, as well, when you asked me about the real estate, the reason I got into the real estate business, other than building the Garner TV and appliance buildings, which started in 1985 and then 1999, but during our smoking sessions, Durwood and I told him that I read that Garner is in need of some warehousing space. So I told him I'm planning to build a warehouse, 75,000 square feet, and he said, well, you know, we're outgrowing our facility, which we lease now. If you can build a building and the location is good, and I told him what the location was, he said that's excellent for them, that he would lease it from me. So we decided that we will build the building, and I started studying the cost and how to do it and where and all the details. And we would get together periodically, and then he came back and said, well, if you're going to need a partner, why don't you make me your partner? So I did, and we got in together, and we built it. I built a warehouse that housed Bachelor Supply in White Oak business development. So that's what got me into the real estate, and then I built several other buildings. But that's the story behind that import and the real estate.
Very interesting. You've been a Rotary member for a long time.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about the benefits there. What do you get out of being a Rotarian?
Well, I've been a Rotarian since 1983. Lee Hudson invited me. Well, I was a Rotarian in Egypt as well. My dad was a past president for one of the...
It's international.
The Rotary is very international. It's in a lot of countries. Well, anyway, so I've been brought up in the Rotary family. So when Lee invited me, I joined at that time, the only Rotary club in Garner.
We have two now, right?
We have three.
Three?
We have Cleveland School, yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So we have three, and I joined in 1983, so that's 33 years now. And Rotary has been a big teacher for me and a big a part of my life. And, I do really appreciate and live by their motto, service above self.
You have been among the few that's been presented the Paul Harris Fellow Award. Talk about that.
Well, the Paul Harris is the highest honor you can get as a Rotarian. And I got that for multiple things, mostly the Rotary Club. Our Rotary Club have the biggest fundraiser is the Oyster Fest, which we have attended several years. I've been chairing that for 12 or 13 years now. I started it, and I was a past president, so it's an accumulated effort with, they look at all your life and your achievement in the club and in the community.
In addition to that award, you have been bestowed upon the James R. Stevens Award.
Yes, sir.
That is what I call like the Citizen of the Year Award. Talk to me about that, what it means to you.
That's probably the biggest honor I feel I received. That award is a testimony that living in this community and being part of it, you're paying just a little bit of your dues to that community. And I feel like if you're going to be in a community like Garner, and the community be good to you as good as it's been to my family, the least we can do is pay back. And that's the community telling you, you have been good to us.
Okay, looking at Garner 10 years from now, how do you see Garner?
Well, I think we're progressing at the right speed, I would say. One of the nicest thing I feel that's happened to Garner is we did not grow too fast. So I think if we maintain this pace and continue our growth, but sustainable growth, but at the same time we can adapt it so it melts into this society and keep our values and keeps our culture. Because Garner has its own culture, I feel, and I enjoyed it very much, and I hope it doesn't change in 10 years. I hope we grow, but we keep our style.
Okay, you want to talk about your family?
My family, we have an extended family. As I said, my brother Bonnie started Garner TV, and my sister Magda just worked with us. Unfortunately, Bonnie passed away last year, and I miss him a lot. I retired from Garner TV in 2010, and like I said, my retirement basically is losing what I don't like to do and keeping what I like to do. So I'm doing that exactly. My wife Samia, she's an accountant. She worked with me almost all our life, married life. We've been married 37 years, and she's worked with me most of it. And we have two sons. Stephen is an attorney in Raleigh, and he's married and have a son that's 8 months old.
You're a proud grandfather, right?
Very much.
So I hear.
Very much. Actually, I am very, very blessed because both sons, I have a second son, Mark, who's married and lives in Garner and has a son that's 8 months old as well. So the two boys had two sons 6 days apart in April of last year. And they live both in Garner and they are very successful. Mark produces flip-flops by the brand name of Feel Goods and has a distribution here in Garner. His order fulfillment is in Garner, so we're a lot into Garner, very much, yes.
Okay, Magdy, you were very, very involved in downtown revitalization. You actually run a business there for a while. Talk about that experience, and it was an experience.
Yes, it was. In 2005, we decided to buy the biggest building downtown, the Henry Bryant building, which at that time was boarded and in a horrible shape. Actually, it was condemned. And I don't know why, well, I know why, but I don't know what really brought it to our minds, me and Monis. But I kind of led this effort and decided to buy the building, which we did, and go in and renovate it totally and make it what it is today. And what really I'm thankful for doing this venture is it was the starting point for downtown to be revitalized like now. And to my surprise and to my really enjoyment today is seeing people coming to ask if we have any more space, if I can find them an office, or I get calls all the time about the condos downtown. People want to rent them, but more so businesses that wants to locate there because they feel it's a rich, as small as it is, but it's a very rich area. And it makes you feel good to be there. I enjoy just going to Main Street and walking.
We've touched briefly on your chamber involvement, and you're heavily involved as long as I know you've been there. You want to talk about, you made friends, you made acquaintances. The chamber membership has probably been good to you.
Yes, part of being in this community and paying back some of our debt to this community is to serve, and serve in different capacities. One of them is the chamber. I've been on the chamber board for many years, I guess. And it's a small, very small price you pay back. And I've enjoyed it. I've made a lot of friends there. But the chamber has been a very good organization for the whole community, and it's done a very good job.
I'm going to ask you a question. You don't have to answer it. You went in line to become the chamber president at one time.
Mm-hmm.
You chose not to do it.
Yes.
Do you feel okay talking about that?
Oh, yes, of course. I don't like politics. So telling that to the mayor is tough. But I am not a politician, and I do not know how to play this role. And the chamber president has to do that. So again, I told you that retirement, in my opinion, is doing what you like and don't do what you have to do. In my job, in the appliance business for 36 years, I had to do a lot of things I didn't like to do. There is many chores that come with the job. Retirement, you try to shed these jobs that you don't like and just keep what you like to do. So the chamber, I like to serve, I like to be involved, but I don't want to do the political stuff. So
interesting.
So that's yeah, and
that answers my question.
Yeah, and let me tell you another thing that it's been one of my things, and it might be a bad thing or a good thing, but whenever I chair a committee, the first meeting, I try to tell everybody that I do not like window dressing. People that wants to put it on their resume, or they want to be just telling people that they are, I do not do that, okay? I like people that will take a job seriously, even if it's one of these charity or whatever. I mean, if you're going to take a job, you have to do it properly. If you want it to be on your resume, then don't work with me. So
how do you really feel?
That's how I really feel, and I don't dress anything.
Okay, it's a well-known fact Garner has its own culture. If you were to describe our culture in Garner to newcomers, what would you tell them?
I would say the following. Garner people are some of the nicest around, and I've been around. They are loyal. If you have a business and you treat them right, they will never leave you. They're generous. You know me very well. I beg for money all the time for one cause or another. I never been turned down unless something really is down. They're generous. They're courteous. They are good people. These people are. They're not transient. They are
solid citizens.
Solid citizens. That's a good description.
And we also get referred to as, you touched on it, a tight-knit community.
Very tight, but very generous.
We lean on each other.
Very receptive. If they take you in and they know you're a good person, they will stay with you.
Magdy, part of your fundraising has been for the Garner Educational Foundation. You've been a very vital part of that. And Garner prides itself in being oriented toward education, favorable to education. How do you feel about that position? And is that a good fundraising effort? I'm sure it is.
That was one of the best fundraisers I shared or did. We were at a chamber retreat, and I remember at that time talking about how our high school was deficient in computer sets. And I think the chamber, the mayor, no, not the mayor, I'm sorry. it was the town manager at that time and a couple of the council members said we will go ahead and appoint a committee to study the issue, and it hit me the wrong way, and I said, if we're here, the business people and the town people in this place, and we have a deficiency, and we're going to start making a committee, and we cannot get what the school needs during our meeting, then I don't want a part of it. So I asked them at that time, the principal of the high school who was present, what is the deficiency? He said we needed 300 computers to be up to the standards that they would recommend. So I said, okay, I will raise the money and get 300 computers in 90 days, which was the time they needed. And I started that effort with a committee, and we raised enough money to buy 300 computers in 90 days for Garner Education Foundation.
That's Garner. That's the way we do it at Garner.
Yes, I had people stop me in the street to pay me the money for that effort. I was asking for $1,050 because IBM, I will never forget, gave us the whole computer set for $350. So I've asked people to give me 3 computers, $1,050, and I had people stopping me in the streets. They say, we want to give you the money. So it was a very, very touching experience.
Magdy, in 1988, Nabisco promised us they would come into Garner, 600 acres out here on Highway 70 in White Oak. Did it do us any harm when they changed their mind not to come? Did it do us harm or good?
If you remember, I told you that we should not have depended on Nabisco. I was happy to see Nabisco back off. When you get an entity of that size in a town of our size, they swallow the town. I'd rather be diversified and have 10 different or 100 different industries to come into my town slowly and not be, I mean, you don't want all your eggs in one basket. That's, and in my opinion, and from my personal experience in my life, I think that luck is between 50 and 60%, and hard work is the best, the balance of it. I don't think that we really have, the way we go into certain businesses, certain location, Nabiscos, the good Lord have a plan for us, and that luck gives us what we're going to do, and then it's our job to take it and make something out of it. So even the failure with Nabisco, I think, in my opinion, was a success.
Very good. Horace Davis said the same thing.
Did he? I don't know that. But I liked it, and I remember we talked to me and you at that time, and I told you that, and I don't think at that time it set good. So,
Magdy, this time with you has been wonderful. I've enjoyed every second of it, and I appreciate you giving us the time to be part of this interview. God bless you. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you for what you do too. You've been a big part of this community, and you've done a good job. We appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was good, guys.
Very good.
Well, it was steady. I didn't have to prompt you or prod you, but you just kept moving.
Now I can talk.
If you see the new Miss Garner, that is his sister.
Oh, I'm glad she didn't take after you.
Yeah.
No.
She might have come in last place.